Hollabo, or hey all, or actually, Tales Up Vindicators, this is Xenoxis. Welcome to the Xenoxis Show for the 10th of February 2017, yeah. So I went up pretty early today. I actually didn't sleep a lot, I only slept like 4 hours, but I feel like energetic for some reason, I don't know why. Maybe it can mean that I can finally go to bed pretty early. If you look here really close here, I have some white hairs here already. Holy shit, man, that's pretty crazy, you know. It's pretty crazy though, considering like I started thinking about a few things about like my old channel and stuff that, like, you know, how I started it in August 2006, which means it's 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, it was correct what I calculated before. So in August, on August 15th, I think it is. Yeah, on August 15th this year, I would have had my 11th like channel birthday on my old channel, basically, pretty much, you know. I never did like a special, you know, like blah 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 amount of years like the channel existed. I never did videos like that, which was a bit sad, you know, considering a lot of people do it, you know, like some people do it when their channel has been like 1 year old and 2 years and 3 years and stuff like that, you know. And some people are so happy when their channel is like 4 years, you know, and then like my channel like fucking 11 years, you know. Like my old channel would have been that this year, you know. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, yesterday I got my second legendary in Legion. I got the Aggramar's Stride, I believe it's called. It's also kind of for the red spec mostly, although I mean it technically also works both for holy and for prot as well. I believe you can use them even if they're not your spec, right? Like you can use like things even though it's not optimal for your spec, you can still use other like specific legendaries, right? You can still use Aggramar Stride as prot, right? I think that's how it is, because I mean like it's affected by haste, like it gives you a speed buff that is dependent on your haste value or whatever, which increases your movement speed. Which I mean like it might not look like a good legendary, but the fact is that it helps you like move around, you know, and in certain boss encounters being able to move around faster, pretty great. And combined with the divine steed when you have 2 charges with it, pretty good for moving around, you know, pretty good, you know. But it's not actually, red spec is kinda, you know, it has been buffed, I would definitely say, quite a while ago. Like the burst that paladins have is actually pretty nice. Although I mean like you won't have pretty high haste, but also having high crit can also be so nice. Like when you crit with certain abilities, like when you crit with Templar's Verdict, then you see those million crits, you know. That's pretty nice, you know, although like it's really low. Like my gear isn't, for example, very optimized because I have a hard time, you know, wanting to be like, yeah, so, you know, like wanting to take like something that's lower item level with better stats on it rather than going with the higher item level stuff, you know. But yeah, I cannot use my second legendary yet because I still haven't researched the 15,001. I actually started researching it yesterday, but it's weird, right? The thing was meant to be like, when you do the researches, if you fall behind or if a certain amount of time has passed, then the research should be faster. And the last research, or the one for the equip 2 legendaries, that still takes like 6 days or whatever. So it's gonna be done like Wednesday next week, I believe, from when I started it, because I started it yesterday on Thursday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it should be done sometime starting Wednesday. It should be done. So yeah, and that's gonna be something to look forward to, you know, because, you know, like the first legendary I got was the first legendary I got was via in Val'Sharrah, I believe, from one of the caches when you did the world quest there, and that was the Prydaz, like the Magnum Opus thing, which gives you a shield when you haven't taken damage for a certain amount of time. Although I believe it was buffed to not be having taken damage, or maybe the shield is stronger, I forgot exactly what it was. And I have also upgraded it recently, And it seems like even if you get a 9-10 legendary, like a lower level legendary, just getting the first, just getting the amount of things, you know, it seems like it always upgrades it to a 940, even if it was only like 910 before. And the boots, when I got them, they actually started out as 940 right away. So I don't know if it is random what the legendary rolls, or if all legendaries from now on roll 940. But then what point would the upgrades do? You know, oh, just upgrade your old legendary, so to speak, maybe, you know. And the newer one I actually got from our world boss from Levantus, actually, which was pretty great, you know, pretty great, you know. I mean, it took way longer to get the first legendary. Getting the second legendary was actually a lot faster, considering the amount of play, you know, most of that. Although, I mean, like, the thing is, if I would start, I think, do a lot of mythics, then I would see the next legendary a lot sooner. But the thing is, you know, I don't really do mythics, even though theoretically mythics is only like heroics, and like regular mythics are almost easier even than heroics. And then like Mythic Plus, I believe you need to go to a certain Mythic Plus before even a fix start happening, you know. And you really should do Mythics, you know, because some of the gear you can get is actually pretty good when doing Mythic dungeons, but that's just the problem, you know, finding actually people to play with, you know, and stuff that, but yeah. And of course, you know, I'm still carrying the guild charter around. But I talked about that guild I wanted started on my old channel as well, like the Up Vindicators. Which, you know, I did a series which was the adventures of Drunken Bronzebeard, and I leveled him up, you know, stuff that and I recorded when I leveled him and stuff that, you know. You know, one of the last recordings I did of it had a bunch of technical issues, so you couldn't see what was going on, so that just made it off-putting to finish that series, you know, and stuff that, but yeah. And I thought up, you know, hey, why not name it after like the intro I would do, which was Tales Up Vindicators, you know. Instead of Shields Up Iron Breakers, you know, and stuff that, it was Tales Up Vindicators, you know. And I had this whole thing planned out, you know, how it's gonna be a Draenei only guild, how only certain Draenei classes would be those, literally only the type of classes you could call Vindicators. And I would technically allow Hunters, even though Hunters are more a Rangari territory. But you know, Rangari is not just a Draenor thing. There would have been actually Rangari on Outland as well, but they never called them Rangari back then. But Rangari is basically the cast of Hunters. They're basically the eyes and spies of the Prophet. So technically Draenei rogues exist within the Rangari, but we still don't have Draenei rogues just yet. Although I imagine it would look pretty badass with male Draenei wearing leather and stuff that would look pretty badass, you know. And you know, like the Warlock could become a thing as well, you know. A definite thing at some expansion in the future. Because the thing is, the thing we know with now how Velen have said, you know, that because of him losing his son, you know, that Velen is going all out, you know, he don't care anymore, you know. And that would maybe make it be allowed in the Draenei society, you know, that he would lose up the restriction what he would be able to teach and stuff that, you know, so maybe Warlocks would become a thing. Because I know a lot of people would just straight up go like Draenei Warlock like right away, like a lot of Warlock players would do that. Of course. Except for a lot of vanilla Warlock players. Like, I mean, the most common Warlock class back in vanilla, and probably even still to this day, is Undead Warlock. You know, Undead Warlock is kind of the master race for Warlocks. Even though, I mean, Orc Warlock, it's a bit weird that Orc Warlock isn't more popular, considering the whole legacy and stuff that with Orc Warlocks, you know, and stuff that, you know, Orc Warlocks were pretty badass, but, you know, it's just something special with, like, Undead Warlocks, you know, and stuff that. How Undead Warlocks aren't really shunned by the society in the same way as others, because Forsaken is more like evil, so to speak, as a faction, even though they're still on the good side, you know, considering like how Shadow Priest, their Shadow Priest is more closer to what an actual Warlock is and stuff that, you know. And, you know, like Shadow Priests are really popular now because of their reworks. They're so good now, you know. And I'm still gonna level up that low level priest that I have, which I'm leveling as Shadow, you know, because, you know, Shadow is pretty badass, you know, with going insane, you know, and stuff that. And the thing is, you know, like they have a skill, you know, or I think they still have the talent, you know, which makes them kill themselves, but they do a shit ton of damage when they have it up, you know. So that, like, stuff like that is really, really cool, you know. And stuff. I mean, I only still have one character at max level since this expansion. In VOD I had how many did I get at max level? I had at least, no, I had more than 2. I think I had 4 at max level in VOD. So I've just been very, very lazy with what characters I've been leveling up. But I mean, I have several characters already with their artifact weapons and stuff there. But it's just a pretty big task to like level all the characters, you know, like finding the time, finding the area to wanting to level up. I know a lot of people can level really, really fast. I can also level sometimes really fast, but sometimes it's just pretty boring to just run dungeons or, you know, just do like questing, you know, like the thing is, like, doing dungeons can be so much more enjoyable if you have like someone to play with. If you just have a friend to play with, and your friend, for example, is a tank and then you're a healer, then you can just, you know, queue for a lot of dungeons a lot at once, you know, and stuff that, and then it can be really fun, and then you can banter with your friend and stuff that, you know, and have a really good time, you know, and stuff that, you know. Going at it alone can be quite boring sometimes. Like, sometimes you might find a group that can go through like stuff really quick, you know. Like when you're leveling up on an alliance side, especially if you get stockades a lot during certain levels, then like you can go like just blast through levels really quickly, you know. Although I kind of wish they would do more heirlooms into the games, you know, and stuff that. It would actually be cool if our instead of actually destroying our, you know, artifact weapons and stuff that, you know, the way I see it, you know, like, yes, the artifact weapons, most likely the appearances we unlocked for the artifacts weapons will actually be unlockable as transmoggable things. But the thing I would like to see them do is somehow make it so that the artifact weapon that we had, to somehow make it into like an heirloom item, and then make it like a really, really high level item that would scale to whatever the current max level would be, unless they would do new artifact weapons and stuff that, because I honestly don't mind having the same weapon for the same expansion, considering it gave us talent trees back, you know, giving us like real talents. Like, it gives a much more fun sense of progression having the artifact trees and stuff that, even though some of the increases are just very, very simple damage increases, it's still like you're investing into something, you know. That's, you know, a great feeling, you know, like feeling like you're still making your character stronger, you know. Even if you're like, even if you're not into like doing like real raiding and stuff that, you know, even if you're not into the real, you know, raiding like heroic and mythic, you know, because I wouldn't even consider like normal mode to be like real raiding, considering like in, you know, like, sure, it's not like LFR, you know, like LFR just face roll most of the time, you know, except for in that latest wing that was unlocked of the Nighthold. And it's just that people like pull too much, and then like they just like an AoE damage that can kind of get done to the whole raid and stuff that, so a lot of people wipe during those points. But one raid, one LFR group was I was in when we was doing the Star Augar, I think it's called. There was like no wipes on that boss. Or there was a wipe, but that wipe was because people went in too early before the whole group had reached there, so yeah. But other than that, there was like no wipe on it, so I can't understand how other parties managed to wipe on it, because avoiding the stuff is really easy, you know. And it only seems that the tanks get the thing on them, but it's not always just there, but the tanks get like a gravitational pull thing on them that they need to like move out of the way of, you know. Anyway, so we recorded 40 minutes now. I'm just gonna call one more part, so I'd see you all